Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Leo, and we're from Childhood.
And we're here to talk to you about our album Lacuna.
Blue Velvet was probably the first track that me and Ben wrote, I guess, properly together. In a dark winter of, I think it was 2010, actually, in our nice little house in Nottingham.
We weren't really in a out and out band at the time, really. It was only just us two, so. We still experimenting and stuff, and then we took it to the studio, recorded it for release in 2012, and then we re-recorded it again in 2014 for the album. So it's got three incarnations really, and each time it's got better and better, I think. So
I definitely think we've sort of managed to breathe new life into it, so it feels kind of, I think, as relevant now as it did back then.
So if You Could Be Different, I actually made that song later on in the album recording process, just because I just had this sort of recurring kind of horrible sleep paralysis nightmare thing, this woman that used to come to me in the night, kind of taunt me, and I felt like she was in love with me, but she also kind of was quite evil and sinister and quite scary.
She haunts me in midnight, but she'll be gone in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just think it was quite a sort of interesting thing to write about, because it just kept on happening and started to feel more significant than just a normal sort of happening in the night. So since I've done that, I wrote the song where she doesn't come back to me anymore, so I think I've done quite well with that. Yeah, she hates the music. She feels like I've done I don't know, I've upset her a bit, I don't know.
There's no time at all.
As I am. So that was initially a 40-strong chord sequence that Dan had written. It was a folk odyssey of sorts, I would say, at the early stages.
So tell me what you wanna do.
We all contributed to it in this sort of late night studio session one evening, and we all kind of just sat there making this song until about 3 in the morning, really. It was quite cool. It was one of the first ever songs we've ever written together. It's quite a big pop chorus in it. I just think pop music is quite important, and I think there's no shame in melody, really. The whole album is an effort to incorporate all the different kind of influences into one record. I wrote Right Beneath Me I was on the train above Brixton. It's kind of about just social change, really, and sort of seeing how people react to sort of the change in environment and the change in sort of social attitudes towards the environment which they live in, really. And just it's kind of happening in Brixton quite a lot, with loads of gentrification and just a weird changing of ethos that you can see physically as well. And I sort of noticed it when I was sort of stuck on this train above Brixton, which is a place that I grew up in, really. So I thought it was quite an interesting and kind of revealing moment. It's quite a bold thing for me to exclusively do a hook through just falsetto vocals, because they're quite challenging for me. They're really high, actually. So I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you as well.
Well, listen for days, but I'll stare at night.
Falls Away, it was a kind of stage when I think we kind of had the majority of the album together, but we knew we had to kind of get a couple more songs. And it was down to you, really. It was you were being told, Ben, got to write the big pop single.
I didn't really feel the pressure to write a single, I just felt the pressure to write more songs, really. And that was one of the last songs I wrote. But it was kind of just about trying to fill empty space with emotion, basically.
And it's not the big pop single, but I think it kind of it definitely showed another side to what we've been sort of previously doing.
Fuck.
I don't think it's a wasp though. I think it's one of the
Fuck.
hover flies. I think it's hover. It's hover. It's a wasp.
What the fuck are you talking about? That's obviously a wasp.
I don't know. Yeah, it is a wasp.
Ah! Is it still there? Fuck. I think it's one of those hoverflies, man. This fine. Let it jam. Sweet Preacher was a song I wrote ages ago. It's kind of about this preacher character. He's always outside of Brixton Tube Station. I was always quite. You could see him. He just like. I was so amazed by how much sort of faith he had in what he was saying. I think it was sort of almost admirable how you can be like that really, with anything. I thought it's basically exposing how the level of uncertainty in my brain. Tides, it was like I wanted to make a song which was a bit more groovy, I think, than what people associated with us from our singles. Individually, we all have our own different niches that we like get into by ourselves. I've listened to quite a lot of groove-based music all my life, really. So I thought if I was going to make an album, it's going to definitely have to kind of reflect that side of my musical upbringing, as well as, you know, the guitar stuff that we're all interested in as a group. I think the next music or album we'd be putting out would be definitely venturing down a more experimental route. I'm quite intrigued. We started doing it already, I think. I have, anyway.
Solemn Skies. Yeah, that song was, well, it went through quite a lot of incarnations in the early days. It was like you had a chorus that you found in a dream.
I was watching this band play a festival in my dream, and they were playing that melody and it sounded cool. I was like, wow, this sounds amazing in the dream. And I woke up like, oh, it's a shame that band had that amazing song. And I was like, oh, it's my dream. I obviously made it, so I could steal it from my dream band in my head, which I did.
But we thought like long and hard about the kind of track ordering, and Solemn Skies, it seemed to fit in well, sort of where we placed it within the album.
I think like the whole point of the album is to show that we've come in like a musical kind of like progression. You know, we made these songs in Nottingham and then, you know, come back to London and have a new perspective on music as a group.
But a lot of these like older songs like are still like very important to us.
Yeah.
And for that reason we've kept them on the album. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who kind of haven't heard these songs before, so they're just as relevant, I think.
Yeah.
Chiliad.
That's a really old song.
Yeah, Chiliad was another, I think probably the song that me and Ben wrote probably after
Blue Velvet.
After Blue Velvet. And it was based on the fictional mountain. Well, the name was based on the fictional mountain.
Yeah, not the lyrics.
In Grand Theft Auto, not the lyrics. They've got nothing to do with that.
It's an earlier song when most of the earlier songs are usually based around nostalgia, really. So we just used to get really melodramatic and write all these nostalgic songs about like London and going home and all this stuff. Just as it's kind of funny, really. It was a bit of a joke / we were quite serious about it as well. But and then like a lot of the other newer songs are about like, you know, the reality of coming home and what's actually waiting for you into this sort of nostalgic world of the past which you thought you were longing for. Pay for Cool was the song that was named and created by Leo.
I wrote the verse for that song, and I just wanted it to be quite a kind of like upbeat, fast, kind of driving kind of chord sequence with like a really like stupid riff. Like if you isolate the riff, it sounds like really stupid.
Yeah.
But that's what I like doing when I write riffs. Like
we used to have most of our songs like you wrote were called like Dumb. When we had like Dumb, which was
jalapeno
poppers,
goons.
Very silly names, but apt for silly riffs, really.
Apt for silly riffs, exactly.
Yeah. When You Rise.
Well, it was you and Dan in the sound check.
Yeah, we made that.
riff.
Dan had this riff in sound check.
And I remember thinking, at the time, I was like, it sounds like Rage Against the Machine. I don't know about this.
You didn't see the bigger picture though.
No, I didn't, but I've seen the bigger picture. I think when we played it for the first time live recently, and I finally understood it.
Yeah.
And I still felt like I was in Rage Against the Machine, but it was like an amazing feeling. So I've got like I love that song now.
It's a good way to end the album,
Yeah.
just smashing your guitar with your teeth. That's what I was doing anyway.
I think we only really, or I anyway, like really probably knew what I think we wanted to achieve with the album probably about just probably a year before we actually started recording it.
Yeah.
Because I think we did take a while kind of, finding out who we were, like musically.
To me, I feel like it's in the past now because I've heard it so many times. But constantly, the effort is to constantly evolve, and I think that's a great starting point to allow us to develop into the musicians and kind of I'd like sort of a vision of what we want Chada to be by the time we sort of feel like we're done with it, really. And I think it's a great starting point really to explore more avenues. I think. Yeah.